Why you have no motivation after spiritual awakening. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. Rumi. After a powerful awakening, many expect to feel endlessly inspired, but instead, they feel numb, disconnected, or lost. Why does deep spiritual insight often lead to emotional emptiness? In today's video on spiritual wisdom, we'll explore the surprising reasons why motivation seems to vanish after awakening, and how this emptiness is not failure, but a doorway to a more authentic life. Have you felt this shift? Share your experience in the comments below, and let's walk this path of truth together. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay connected with weekly insights that nourish your soul. 1. Awakening can lead to numbness, not bliss. After a powerful spiritual awakening, we expect clarity, passion, and deep joy, but often what follows is emotional numbness. Not because something went wrong, but because everything superficial falls silent. The illusion is gone. The ego has been disarmed. And in that silence, something strange happens and you stop striving. You stop chasing. But not from laziness, from detachment. You see through the game of success and validation, and suddenly, what once drove you no longer moves you. You're not broken. You're in transition. The fire of awakening often burns away your old identity, but it doesn't immediately replace it with a new one. There's a gap, a void. This void is not a mistake. It's the space between who you were and who you're becoming. It feels like emptiness, but it's actually clarity with nothing yet to focus on. Your nervous system, your thoughts, your energetic field, they're all recalibrating. The old patterns are gone, but the new rhythm hasn't emerged yet. This can feel like apathy, but it's more like energetic hibernation. You are not without purpose. You are in sacred stillness. For empaths, introverts, and deeply introspective souls, this quiet lands even harder. These are the ones who feel everything deeply, who can no longer pretend to care about shallow ambitions. After awakening, their soul craves something real, but doesn't yet know where to find it. That disconnect creates a numbness that's not depression, but spiritual detox. It's what happens when your soul has outgrown the old world, but hasn't yet stepped into the new one. This silence is not absence, it's preparation. What you used to do to feel alive, productivity, goals, relationships, no longer works. The energy behind them feels hollow now. That's because you're no longer motivated by fear or validation. You are being rewired for alignment. Before, you acted from ego. Now, you're learning to move from spirit. That takes time, and silence, and inner rewiring. There's no external solution for this phase. No checklist, no hustle. You are meant to feel everything slow down. You are meant to witness, not fix. To dissolve, not force. This numbness is not a dead end. It is a threshold. What you're feeling is not the end of your path. It's the beginning of your truth. And while it may feel like you've lost direction, what's really happening is that your compass is being replaced. From external goals to inner resonance. From striving to allowing. From chasing meaning to becoming it. If this message resonates with your soul, take a deep breath and repeat. I embrace the stillness within me. I trust that this quiet phase is part of my divine awakening. Let this be your reminder that even numbness has meaning. If you're on this journey too, like, share, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom, and turn on notifications so you never miss a message meant just for you. 2. You're not lost. You're in a sacred pause. You are not broken, and this isn't failure. What you're experiencing after your awakening is a sacred pause, a space between the old self and the true self. Carl Jung described this as a necessary psychological and spiritual transition. It's a liminal phase, a void. Your ego has dissolved, but the soul hasn't fully stepped forward yet. You're no longer who you used to be, but you're not yet who you are becoming. This space can feel like emptiness, but it is not meaningless. It is sacred, and it is working on you in silence. The loss of motivation isn't because you're lazy or lost. It's because the fuel that once drove you, fear, ambition, ego validation, has burned out, and in its place is silence. This silence can be unsettling, especially in a world that glorifies hustle and noise. But for the awakened soul, silence is the beginning of truth. You can't go back to pretending that external success is enough. You can't lie to yourself anymore. So everything pauses. Not because you have failed, but because your soul is rewriting the script from within. Take a look at modern life. We're taught to measure our worth by output, to chase productivity like it's a religion. But when awakening strikes, that entire system of meaning collapses. You no longer feel inspired by to-do lists or 5-year plans. And that's not a flaw. It's a sign that you've outgrown the old map. There's nothing wrong with you for not wanting to keep running in a race that leads nowhere. You are simply waking up to a deeper purpose that doesn't announce itself with urgency. Many people describe this stage as numbness. It's not depression, it's disorientation. The ego had a clear sense of direction, but it was based on illusion. The soul doesn't push. It waits. It listens. It aligns. This is why your usual sources of drive no longer work. You're not supposed to push through this phase. You're meant to surrender into it. The caterpillar doesn't plan its wings. It dissolves first. This is your cocoon. I remember a woman named Maya, a high-achieving executive who experienced a spiritual breakthrough after a personal loss. She told me, "I used to feel so driven. Now I can't even make a to-do list without feeling empty." What she thought was burnout was actually rebirth. Her soul was no longer aligned with performance. It craved authenticity. So she paused. She rested. She waited. And eventually, a new vision arose, one that resonated with truth, not trauma. This is the essence of the sacred pause. It's not about giving up. It's about clearing space. When old identities fall away, your inner landscape becomes quiet, even barren. But this barren place is fertile ground for something real to emerge. Your true purpose can't grow in the noise of your old life. It needs this silence, this stillness, this sacred in-between. You are being prepared. And preparation is never glamorous, but it's always necessary. You may feel like you're falling behind, like everyone else is sprinting forward while you stand still. But spiritual growth doesn't move on a timeline. It moves in spirals, in seasons. You are in the winter of your becoming. Let it be cold. Let it be still. Spring will return, not with frantic effort, but with rooted purpose. This pause is not the end of your journey. It is the hidden chapter where your soul regathers its strength, where illusions fall and clarity rises, where motivation returns not to chase, but to create, not to prove, but to live aligned. Let the void do its work. Let it hollow out what no longer serves. And trust that when your true path calls, you will recognize it not as pressure, but as peace. If you know this sacred pause is not the end, but the beginning of your transformation, declare it in the comments. I trust the void. I know I am being reborn. And if this message spoke to your soul, like, share, and subscribe so you never miss what Spirit is revealing next. 3. Motivation disappears because old goals no longer fit. The reason motivation disappears after a spiritual awakening isn't laziness, it's alignment. You're no longer inspired by the same things because the identity that once craved those achievements is dissolving. The goals that used to excite you were rooted in survival, in ego, in proving your worth. But now, those motivations feel artificial because your soul has tasted something real. The success you used to chase came from a place of not enoughness. You wanted to be seen, validated, chosen. And now that you've awakened, you realize those old pursuits were part of a game you no longer wish to play. This collapse of inner drive is not failure, it's evolution. You're shedding an identity, and with it, the system of desires that belong to that version of you. There's a void, yes, but it's sacred. The silence you feel isn't emptiness, it's space. Space for truth, for realignment. Your soul is no longer fueled by urgency, pressure, or noise. It wants stillness, simplicity, clarity. But your mind doesn't know how to handle this pause. It thinks something must be wrong. It wants to fix it, to fill it, to force action. But the deeper part of you knows this is not the time to act. This is the time to listen. After awakening, you no longer move from fear of falling behind. You move from resonance. You don't do things because you have to, but because they feel true. And in this transition, the in-between is hard. You're not who you were, but you're not yet who you're becoming. This liminal space is uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Like a forest after winter, your energy is regenerating underground. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. Your soul is preparing new roots. Many people try to return to their old ways. They reopen the same books, replay the same goals, try to rekindle the same fire, but it doesn't work. It feels forced because you can't unsee the truth. You can't unknow what you now know. And so, the only path forward is trust. Trust that your motivation will return, but it won't look like it did before. It will rise from a deeper place. It won't shout. It will whisper. It won't demand approval. It will be quiet, but powerful. And when it moves through you, you'll know it's not about proving anything. It's about living in alignment. Spiritual awakening doesn't remove your ambition. It rewires it. You begin to care less about the finish line and more about the integrity of each step. You're not chasing the spotlight. You're cultivating light from within. And this shift, this loss of old motivation, is not a curse. It's a blessing. Because now, you're no longer driven. You're drawn. Drawn toward what's real. Toward what lasts. Toward what speaks the language of your soul. If this message speaks to your soul, if you know your old goals no longer align with who you are becoming, don't ignore it. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Let's grow through this shift together and pray for clarity and renewed purpose. 4. This void is essential for rebirth. There comes a moment after awakening when everything goes quiet, not in a peaceful or euphoric way, but in a hollow, haunting stillness. You thought the light would come rushing in, that you'd feel more alive, more inspired. But instead, you find yourself sitting inside a kind of emotional void. What you're feeling is not a mistake. This stillness is sacred. It is not emptiness for the sake of suffering. It is a necessary pause in the process of spiritual rebirth. In truth, this phase mirrors an ancient rite of passage, echoed across time in myths, religions, and initiatory traditions. Just like the caterpillar dissolves into formless goo before becoming a butterfly, your ego is melting layer by layer so your truest self can be born. The part of you that was driven by goals, roles, validation, and identity is now dissolving. And with it goes your old motivation. But rather than rushing to escape this space, you're being called to dwell in it, to let the ego fall away without clinging to something new too quickly. You are not depressed, you are in spiritual suspension. This is the cocoon, no longer crawling, not yet flying. You are becoming the chrysalis, suspended between worlds. There is no map for this space, and that is precisely the point. When old motivations fade, success, recognition, status, even healing, you're left with only one direction, inward. And that's where the transformation begins. The numbness you feel is not the absence of life. It's the quiet before truth returns. Before, your energy came from trying to prove something. Now there's nothing to prove. Your awakening has stripped you of false purpose so you can discover your real one. And it doesn't shout. It whispers. It doesn't pull you forward. It asks you to stand still. This loss of drive is an initiation. The question is no longer, what should I do? But who am I when I do nothing? Motivation, once fueled by fear or ambition, begins to return as devotion, presence, and purpose, not because you're chasing something, but because something deeper is now flowing through you. Lao Tzu said, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." That's the essence of this transformation. Your old self had to die for your soul to breathe freely. And this breath, soft, slow, real, is not yet ready to move mountains. It is still learning to inhale in wholeness. There is a grace in not knowing. I'm not striving, in letting go, in becoming receptive rather than reactive. And though the world may call this laziness or detachment, in truth, it is alignment, a return to source, a stripping away of illusion. Your silence is not lifelessness. It is the sacred rest before resurrection. Did this message speak to your soul? If so, comment, "I embrace the void," below. Let's honor this sacred space of transformation together. And if this resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of awakening. 5. Shadow integration is the real spiritual work. Carl Jung once said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." That truth lies at the core of why so many people feel lost, empty, or unmotivated after their spiritual awakening. The glow doesn't last forever, not because something has gone wrong, but because the real work has just begun. Awakening cracks open the illusion, but what follows is the rising of everything you had once buried. That heaviness you feel, that numbness, that strange detachment from the world you were once trying to improve. It's not a failure. It's your shadow stepping forward, asking to be seen. When you stop chasing goals and suddenly feel uninterested in external success, it's easy to think something's wrong with you. But your energy hasn't vanished. It's been redirected inward. Motivation fades not because you've lost your way, but because your soul is asking you to stop performing and start listening. The discomfort, the lack of drive, the emotional fog, it's all the unconscious trying to become conscious. And if you try to skip this part, if you distract yourself with positivity or productivity, you fall into spiritual bypassing. That's when you begin to detach, not in a healthy way, but in a disembodied way that separates you from your true self. I knew someone who came back from a silent retreat absolutely radiant. Her eyes were clear, her presence calm, and everything seemed to align. But 2 weeks later, she was emotionally overwhelmed. She couldn't focus. She couldn't work. She thought she was going backward. But in truth, her awakening had unlocked layers of grief and trauma that had been stored in her body for years. Her soul didn't want productivity. It wanted repair. She wasn't unmotivated. She was being pulled inward to do the deeper, more sacred work. That's shadow integration, and that's the real path. Spiritual growth isn't just about expansion, it's about excavation, the clearing out, the letting go, the seeing of all the parts of yourself you've denied or hidden. It's a slow, sacred, often uncomfortable process where silence replaces stimulation and rest becomes more important than results. Many try to jump over this part. They want the bliss without the breakdown. But you can't bypass what your soul needs to feel in order to be whole. You can't rise until you've rooted. The phase you're in isn't laziness, it's spiritual recalibration. It's your nervous system finally releasing the pressure of performance. It's your inner world catching up to the truth you've awakened to. And no, the world won't always understand this. But your soul does. You're not falling apart. You're falling into alignment. This is not regression. It's realignment. And the more you soften into it, the more your authentic self can emerge. Not the version that hustled for validation, but the one that moves in truth, stillness, and deep inner knowing. Growth sometimes looks like stillness. Healing sometimes looks like emptiness. Motivation isn't always loud. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it sleeps. But the process is sacred, and so are you. If this message resonates with your soul, leave a comment of truth. I welcome my shadow. I am ready to heal and integrate. Your journey to wholeness begins with courage. And if this video helped you see your path more clearly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone on their own healing journey. 6. A new type of motivation emerges soul-powered. Once you've surrendered to the void, the quiet, empty space that spiritual awakening often brings, a new kind of motivation slowly begins to emerge. It doesn't arrive with fireworks. It doesn't come from ambition, fear, or the need to prove yourself. It rises gently, like the morning sun. This is not the motivation you once knew. It is softer, deeper, and far more powerful because it's soul-powered. It isn't driven by ego. It doesn't measure itself through comparison, achievement, or applause. It simply aligns with truth. You begin to move, not because you're trying to keep up with anyone, but because something inside you feels right. You act not out of pressure, but out of peace. You say yes to what resonates with your spirit, and no to what doesn't. You no longer chase purpose, you embody it. What once excited you may now feel hollow, not because you failed, but because you've outgrown the fuel that once ran your life. Old goals lose their grip. Former ambitions fade. The path ahead doesn't demand clarity. It only asks for presence. And within that presence, you begin to feel what is real again. This soul-driven energy doesn't push, it pulls. It doesn't come from external validation, but from internal alignment. You become less interested in performance and more devoted to authenticity. The need to compete dissolves. You stop living on autopilot and start making every choice from a centered place. The most powerful shift is that you're no longer moved by anxiety. You're moved by truth. As Eckhart Tolle reminds us, realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. From this awareness, action becomes sacred again. Imagine someone who used to chase success in a high-pressure job. She woke up, not because she burned out, but because her soul could no longer pretend. She let go, not of ambition, but of attachment. She began painting again, not to impress, but to feel. She started moving through life with grace, not urgency. That's what soul-powered motivation looks like. It flows from wholeness. It honors silence. It trusts intuition. It may not be loud, but it is lasting. So if you feel like you've lost motivation after awakening, look closer. Maybe you haven't lost anything. Maybe your soul has simply chosen a new language, one that doesn't speak in urgency, but in alignment. One that doesn't demand a plan, but invites you into presence. A quieter fire is still a fire, and that fire, when fueled by truth, will carry you farther than fear ever could. 7. The self begins to lead through inner guidance. When you begin living from your higher self, something profound shifts inside you. You no longer operate from fear, impulse, or survival instincts. Instead of reacting to life's noise, you start responding from a place of deep presence. Everything around you begins to take on symbolic meaning. Dreams become messages. Intuition becomes your compass. And synchronicities feel like divine nudges guiding your next steps. You stop relying solely on logic and plans, and instead, you start trusting what feels true. There's a sacred intelligence beneath the surface of things, and you're now aligned with it. This shift isn't about losing ambition. It's about transforming it. You no longer chase goals for status, validation, or competition. What once drove you out of ego now draws you from purpose. Ambition becomes devotion. Not to a title, not to a checklist, not to the image of success, but to a life rich in meaning, authenticity, and inner alignment. The urgency to achieve is replaced by a quiet longing to serve something higher. You're not trying to prove your worth anymore. You're simply living in tune with what feels sacred. You may find yourself saying no to things you once would have chased without hesitation. The hustle loses its grip on you, not because you're lazy, but because your soul is speaking louder than the noise of the world. What energizes you now isn't external praise, but internal peace. You begin to prioritize alignment over obligation. Even relationships start to shift. You connect with people through truth, not performance. You walk away from anything that demands you betray your inner knowing. Living this way means embracing subtlety. The self leads through whispers, not shouts. It's a feeling, a pull, a resonance in your body that says yes before your mind has figured out why. And the more you honor that guidance, the more magical and peaceful life becomes. You don't need to control every outcome anymore. You just need to stay in tune. As Rumi once said, when you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy. That's what this path offers. Not flashy fireworks, but a steady flame that warms everything you touch. In this space, devotion becomes your energy source. You're not burnt out because you're not forcing anything. You're not exhausted by resistance because you're no longer pushing against the current, you're flowing with it. Life becomes a dance of surrender, and trust, not a battlefield of goals and deadlines. And while others may not understand your quiet shift, your peace speaks louder than their noise. This is not a loss of drive. It's the birth of direction that finally feels real. To affirm your trust in inner wisdom, declare your alignment. Comment below. I follow the guidance within, to honor your journey and inspire others to live from the truth of the self. So if you've been feeling lost, numb, or unmotivated after your spiritual awakening, know this: you're not broken. You're being rebuilt. The silence, the emptiness, the stillness, it's not the end. It's the space where your true purpose begins to take shape. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who might need it, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom for more deep insights like this. And make sure to turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. Your journey matters, and you're not alone in it. We'll see you in the next one. Stay grounded, stay awakened. Chosen ones, a wealthy stranger is about to relocate you because you did this. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. In life, we often think that our small acts go unnoticed, but in the unseen realm, every seed of kindness, every brave step of faith is shifting the very fabric of your destiny. In today's message on spiritual wisdom, you'll discover how one simple moment, perhaps one you barely remember, has invited a powerful force into your life. A wealthy stranger is being divinely guided to unlock doors you couldn't open on your own. Are you ready to receive what you once thought was impossible? Drop a 77 in the comments if you're claiming this season of divine alignment, and share how faith has made the impossible possible in your life. Let's grow together. Chosen one, your time is now. 1. A small act sparked a major shift. A simple act, one you may have overlooked or dismissed as unimportant, has created a ripple in the unseen realms. That quiet moment when you chose kindness over bitterness, faith over fear, or integrity over compromise did not go unnoticed. It was recorded not just in the spiritual realm, but in the heart of someone watching someone powerful. Someone with the ability to shift your entire environment. That person, whether symbolic or literal, has been stirred by your energy, your light, and your alignment. And now they are being used as a divine instrument to relocate you to the place where your gifts, your calling, and your highest potential can flourish. What you thought was just a moment of goodness has become the gateway to a destiny you didn't even see coming. This is how spiritual awakening truly unfolds. It doesn't always come with trumpets or grand signs. Sometimes it arrives quietly, tucked within the fabric of your daily choices. Your life is not being disrupted, it's being redirected. You've outgrown the energies, the mindsets, and even the surroundings of your past chapter. That's why it feels like everything is shifting beneath you. But it's not falling apart, it's falling into place. As the saying goes, your vibe attracts your tribe. But in your case, your integrity has attracted opportunity, your faith has attracted favor, and your spiritual wisdom has drawn the attention of destiny itself. A wealthy stranger, guided by unseen purpose, has recognized your value and is aligning circumstances to move you not just physically, but energetically into the space where you were always meant to shine. This isn't just about relocation. It's a transformation of identity. You're not simply going somewhere new. you're becoming someone new. The version of you who was overlooked, underestimated, or undervalued is being left behind. In its place is the awakened, you aware, empowered, and ready to walk in purpose. That moment of obedience, that small yet profound gesture, was the spiritual key that unlocked this next phase. Divine timing is no longer waiting. It has arrived, and it's meeting you with unexpected allies, sudden breakthroughs, and undeniable clarity. So reflect for a moment. What action have you taken recently that might have seemed small, but carried the weight of your entire soul? That decision was not in vain. It was the spark that called down favor. In this season of spiritual awakening, don't question the shift. Trust it. You've done your part in silence, and now the universe is responding with movement. Everything is lining up because you dared to act from your higher self, and now the doors that were once sealed are opening without resistance. Walk forward, not because you forced the path, but because your spiritual alignment created it. Are you ready to step into the blessing sparked by your small but powerful action? If so, comment below. I am ready to thrive, to affirm your readiness for this divine shift. 2. You're part of a hidden network. You are part of a hidden spiritual network that extends far beyond what the eye can see. Every time you acted with kindness, held your peace instead of retaliating, or gave when no one was watching, you planted seeds into this energetic web. These moments weren't lost. They became part of an invisible thread of influence that has now reached someone powerful. A wealthy stranger, moved not by coincidence, but by divine prompting, is about to enter your life. This person doesn't know your full story, but they feel your energy. They've been spiritually drawn to you, guided by the very vibration your soul has been emitting for years. The good you've done in silence is speaking loudly in realms you've never imagined. We often think we need to be in the right room, shake the right hand, or say the perfect words to change our destiny. But in truth, spiritual alignment speaks louder than any resume. Your name has been whispered in places you've never walked into, not by people, but by the energy you've cultivated. It's the law of divine return. What you release into the universe, love, truth, patience, returns multiplied. This is what's happening now. Your breakthrough isn't random. It's the result of years of internal work, discipline, and faith when no one was clapping for you. Someone with resources, reach, and readiness is being positioned to bless you, not because they owe you anything, but because the spiritual current has made your name known to them. This is the season where silent seeds bloom. You might not even remember the specific act that triggered this shift. A quiet prayer, a selfless decision, a moment of compassion, but it mattered. It echoed through the spiritual atmosphere, and now it's returning to you in the form of favor. And the one bringing it, they've been prepared just for this role. Their wealth, their influence, their desire to relocate you to a new place in life, it's not a transaction, it's alignment. They are simply the vessel through which the universe is delivering what your spirit has already earned. So when the opportunity comes, recognize it for what it is. Not luck at all. This is spiritual compensation. This is the divine network at work. And this is your confirmation that your energy, your real wealth, has been doing the work in silence, preparing a way. As Rumi said, what you seek is seeking you. But even more powerfully, what you've become is now calling forth everything meant for you. stay in alignment, walk with faith, and prepare yourself to receive what's already on its way. Leave a like and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss powerful content like this. You're not alone. You're part of a divine network. Comment below, "I attract blessings through divine connections," to affirm your alignment with this spiritual flow. 3. This change is a spiritual upgrade. The relocation is not just a change in location. It's a divine intervention signaling that your soul has outgrown the place you once called home. Spiritually, you are being pulled into alignment with your higher calling. And what once felt familiar now feels too tight for your evolving identity. You are not being uprooted by chaos. You are being elevated by purpose. This transformation isn't about leaving something behind. It's about stepping into something greater. The walls that once defined your limits are now becoming doorways. This shift is sacred. It is confirmation that your spiritual growth has reached a threshold, and the universe is responding in kind. At the center of this shift is not chance, but a moment of hidden obedience, a quiet act of character that seemed small at the time. Maybe it was a gesture of kindness, a choice to stand for truth, or the silent endurance of hardship without bitterness. That moment, often overlooked by the world, was not missed by heaven. It carried a frequency, a spiritual signature that resonated beyond time and space. And now, someone with power, wealth, or divine assignment has been drawn toward you. This stranger didn't stumble upon your path. They were guided, not by appearances, but by spiritual discernment. They saw what was concealed from others: your strength, your humility, your quiet faithfulness. This is the law of spiritual reciprocity. The good you put into the world, especially when unnoticed, never vanishes. It travels in silence and returns with divine timing. Galatians 6 verse 9 reminds us, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." This moment is the harvest. You are being relocated not because of luck, but because of legacy. The wealth coming toward you isn't just material. It's wisdom, opportunity, alignment, and elevation. You're not just changing environments. You're entering a new atmosphere of purpose, favor, and divine orchestration. But this move will require more from you. You cannot walk into this new space with yesterday's mindset. Old patterns must fall away. Your spiritual posture must rise. You must now lead with clarity, speak with conviction, and walk with discipline. This is not the finish line, it's the threshold. You've been chosen to carry more, to shine brighter, to influence deeper. And though it may feel unfamiliar, it is precisely where you were always meant to be. Spiritual growth demands expansion. And now, life itself is expanding around you. If you felt the unrest, the divine discontent, the urge to move or evolve, it's because your spirit already knows what your mind is just starting to realize. You are not being abandoned. You are being positioned. You are not being overlooked. You are being set apart. A wealthy stranger is not just coming to bless you. They are arriving as part of a divine transaction already written in your destiny. This is a spiritual upgrade. Walk in it. If this message resonates with your spirit, declare your faith in the journey ahead. Comment below. This shift is my spiritual upgrade. I trust where God is taking me. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any more divine insights like this. 4. Embrace the unknown with courage. Embrace the unknown with courage, because true growth never happens in places of comfort. When you're going through a spiritual awakening, life doesn't wait for your full understanding. It simply moves. What feels like chaos is often divine alignment in disguise. You may be feeling stretched, confused, even disoriented, but that's not failure, it's preparation. The discomfort you're experiencing is not punishment, but a spiritual invitation to rise higher, to release control, and to trust a process that's already in motion. This is the sacred ground where transformation takes root, not in the predictable, but in the unfamiliar. You're not just going through change, you're being molded, shaped, and refined for a greater assignment. Spiritual awakening isn't soft. It's a fire that burns away false identities and reveals the truth of who you are. There's a shift happening around you and within you, and whether you see it clearly or not, something significant has already begun. A divine force, a wealthy stranger, a symbolic guide, or a hidden opportunity is watching your life with intention. This figure didn't appear by chance. It was your unseen acts of courage, kindness, and quiet faith that attracted this energy. One moment, maybe a small decision you thought no one saw, carried so much spiritual weight that it altered your future timeline. And now, because of that moment, your life is being recalibrated. You are being positioned for relocation, not just physically, but spiritually and mentally. This is not random. This is alignment. Your path is shifting because you were bold enough to plant seeds in faith when the soil didn't seem fertile. The signs have been there all along. That sense of restlessness, that urge to move, that inner knowing that something bigger is calling you, it's real. You might have tried to silence it or explain it away, but it's only grown louder. Because your spirit knows what your mind is still catching up to. You are being prepared for a new level, and preparation always comes before elevation. The world may not applaud your journey, but heaven is orchestrating the next chapter on your behalf. A divine relocation is unfolding, one that puts you in places where your light can no longer be ignored. Don't doubt the timing. This isn't happening too soon or too late. It's happening right on schedule. Even if you don't feel ready, trust that spiritual readiness doesn't mean having all the answers. It means being available, being teachable, and being willing to walk forward even when the road isn't fully lit. As the saying goes, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Your readiness has summoned a new door, and the key is your faith. So walk through it. Stand tall in the unknown. What once felt out of reach is now moving toward you because your spirit has been aligned, your energy has spoken, and your purpose has been activated. Comment below, I trust the unknown, if you're ready to release control and grow through this powerful season of transformation. Your words carry energy. Let them declare your courage. 5. Creativity is now your superpower. Creativity is not just a talent, it is now your spiritual power. You've been placed in front of a blank canvas, and everything about this moment is sacred. Your new surroundings are not random. They are designed to equip you with exactly what you need: tools, people, resources, and the right energy to finally bring your highest vision into reality. This is your invitation to create boldly, not cautiously. Whether it's starting the business you've always dreamed of, launching a creative project, shifting your habits, or stepping into an entirely new way of living, you are no longer being asked to wait. You are being called to act, and act with purpose. What once looked impossible is now quietly aligning in your favor. But you must meet this moment with faith. As Maya Angelou once said, you can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. This is not just about producing something. It's about unlocking a spiritual flow that transforms everything you touch. Perhaps this shift came through what seemed like a small moment, a decision to choose love over pride, faith over fear, or truth over silence. That single act done when no one was watching activated something in the spiritual realm. You triggered a divine chain reaction. What you are experiencing now is not coincidence. It is compensation for the seeds you planted in secret. The stranger, the opportunity, the favor suddenly placed before you, it all arrived because of what you did when no one else believed in you. This is why your creativity matters. It's not just for expression, it's for expansion. It's the way the divine builds through you. The canvas isn't passive. It's sacred ground waiting for your imprint. You've been spiritually relocated to a new level because your soul was ready before your circumstances caught up. And now that alignment is here, you must honor it through action. So ask yourself, what is that one big vision you've been carrying, but always putting aside because it felt too wild, too ambitious, too different? What if that dream was never random, but a divine instruction coded into your spirit from the beginning? What if this fresh space, this unexpected blessing, is your confirmation that now is the time? Your spiritual creativity is your calling card. You were chosen not to blend in, but to build. As Steve Jobs said, innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. You are here to lead not by force, but by inspiration, through your ideas, through your gifts, through your courage to begin. This is not the finish line, it is the spark. What happens next depends on how willing you are to use what you've been given, not someday now. If you're still with us, drop a comment below saying, "I am creating boldly." Your words help us build a community of dreamers who are ready to shape their reality with courage and creativity. 6. Purpose must guide your steps. You're not just relocating, you're being divinely positioned. This isn't about changing scenery or chasing opportunity for the sake of it. It's about walking into alignment with something far greater than yourself. A wealthy stranger may appear to be the one opening doors, but in truth, this is a spiritual appointment. Life has witnessed your integrity. It has seen you act in silence when no one applauded. It saw you stay true to your values when shortcuts looked tempting. And now, because of one small act, an act you may have forgotten, a door has swung open. Not just any door, but the one that leads you into your legacy. This shift isn't by accident. You are being moved because your presence is required elsewhere. There's a territory that needs your leadership, your voice, your energy. And the universe does not waste power, it redirects it. The wealth that finds its way to you is not just financial, it's spiritual. It comes in the form of aligned relationships, divine timing, and a new environment fertile for your purpose. But if fear governs your decisions, you will shrink in the face of expansion. Purpose, not panic, must be your compass. As it's written, without vision, the people perish. You must hold tightly to the vision placed within you. Staying grounded in your core values is your anchor. Humility is your armor. These are not just noble traits, they are spiritual tools. In the midst of change, they will protect your peace and elevate your influence. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Your authenticity is already making room for you. The way you show up in this new season will determine whether this move becomes a moment or a movement. This is your time to lead, not through noise, but through clarity, consistency, and quiet conviction. Connection will be your most powerful currency. Don't walk into this new space with walls up. Let your spirit stay open to the people you're meant to meet, those who will pour into you, and those you are meant to pour into. This transition isn't just about advancement, it's about alignment. You're being relocated to unlock a deeper level of spiritual growth. The conversations, the chance meetings, the unexpected offers, they are all part of a divine puzzle, forming a picture you can't yet see. But you will. And when you do, it will all make sense. Your blessing is not the relocation. Your blessing is the assignment that comes with it. Let this opportunity become a legacy. Let every step you take be guided not by fear or pressure, but by the inner knowing that you were made for this. What once felt impossible is now inevitable. This is not just a new place. This is your spiritual next level. Comment below. I walk with purpose, if you're ready to be guided by vision, not fear, and to turn this next step into something lasting and meaningful. 7. Every step was meant to prepare you. Every step you've taken, no matter how painful or confusing, was part of a divine design preparing you for this very moment. The delays that made you question your worth, the struggles that tested your faith, the silence that left you wondering if you were forgotten, all of it was orchestrated to build your spiritual foundation. You weren't being punished. You were being positioned. Every obstacle was shaping your character, deepening your spiritual wisdom, and aligning your energy with a higher path. What once felt random now reveals itself as perfect alignment, and your spiritual awakening has opened your eyes to this truth. You were never lost. You were being led. Even in the seasons when everything seemed still, something powerful was happening within you. You were being refined in the fire of endurance, developing patience, discernment, and strength that no shortcut could ever produce. This inner work was sacred. It was the universe's way of making sure you could carry the weight of the blessing that's about to enter your life. And now, something remarkable is unfolding. A powerful figure, someone you may not even know, is being divinely guided to cross your path. They've seen your light, not because you sought validation, but because your energy has become undeniable. You've silently impacted lives, and your spiritual resilience has become a beacon. This person has the power to elevate your life, to open a door that changes everything, not because of luck, but because your spirit has aligned with divine timing. What's happening now is not a coincidence. It's confirmation. You're being relocated, elevated, and realigned for a greater purpose. This isn't just a material shift, it's a spiritual repositioning. Your past no longer fits the person you've become. You've grown beyond your old story, and it's time to walk into the chapter that your soul has been preparing for. The pain didn't break you, it built you. The wait didn't delay you, it prepared you. Now, every step you take is backed by spiritual momentum. You're walking with power, not because you're trying to prove something, but because you've become something. You've become someone who understands the value of the process. This moment is sacred. What once seemed like loss was actually gain. What felt like rejection was redirection. And what you once thought was the end was just the beginning of your true calling. There is no need to fear this transition. You are not the same person who once doubted. You are spiritually awake, grounded, and ready. Let your actions reflect the wisdom you've gained. Let your choices honor the journey you've walked. And as you step forward, remember, the reward isn't just the relocation, it's the realization that everything, absolutely everything, was preparing you for this. To affirm that every step was preparation, not punishment, declare your readiness. Comment below, I am prepared for purpose, to honor your journey and encourage others to trust the divine path unfolding in their lives. And remember, chosen one, sometimes the smallest act of light is what unlocks the greatest shift in your destiny. The universe saw what you did, even when no one else did. Now, a door is opening, and it's not random, it's divinely aligned. Stay open, stay ready. Your next chapter is being written by unseen hands. If this message spoke to your spirit, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs this word, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom. Make sure to turn on the notification bell so you never miss the guidance that could change your life. Your journey is just beginning. Don't walk it alone.